Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today I'm going to show you how to wrap an ordinary present with a little extra flair. Check that out. This present has pleats in the front, so you could stick a gift card in there, you could stick a greeting card in there. It's a little classier than just scotch taping it to the top, and it's so much easy and economical too, using supplies from our sponsor Paper Mart. You can find them online at www.papermart.com. I'll even show you how to make this really fun tissue paper flower. So let's go to the table and I'll show you how it's done. Alright, here we have our finished package with 3 pleats, and I'm going to show you how to do that today. The first thing you want to do is cut a piece of wrapping paper that is a little bit wider than your box. I've got about, if I pull up the edges, I wouldn't want it to overlap the front. I might still have to trim a little bit off at the end, but it's better to have a little more than a little less, because you can always trim some off. Now this is about 1, 2, 3 times the length of my box plus a little extra. You'll want that extra, just that little extra space for getting the pleats in. So I'm going to set my box aside and I'm going to fold some pleats. It's kind of cute with the striped paper, but it's really, really beautiful with like a metallic paper or anything like that. If you're only really going to use the first pleat, you want to make sure that one's going to be deep enough so that you can put a card in there and it's not going to fall over. I mean, it's not going to fall out because you don't want to lose your card. And I am going to take care with these little metallic stripes. I want to make sure the pattern repeats pretty well there. But you know, that said, you don't have to be perfect with it. And then these other two, I'm just going to make much smaller, much shallower pleats. I'm just trying to keep my stripes parallel since this does have a pattern to it. But you know, don't fuss with it too much. It's just kind of a fun wrapping, and you know, wrapping paper does get thrown away when it's done usually, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. Just have fun with it. Alright, we're going to lose that metallic stripe there, so I'm just going to tuck that in, and we've got, I'm just trying to keep my folds straight. I'm not perfect at it, but it doesn't have to be. It's still going to be cute. Alright, so there. So now I've got 3 pleats. Now if you want, it might make it a little bit easier if you tape down your pleats on the edge. I didn't do that on the first time, but then I realized that it kind of, I wanted to make a nice tight wrapped package, and it did kind of want to come unpleated on me, so I think a little bit of tape on the sides just to lock down those pleats will make it easier to get a nice, neat, tight wrap. Alright, then you're going to flip it over and you're going to wrap it just like you would a present, but you want to make sure that you've got the, where your pleats are, you want to make sure that's on the front of the package. That middle pleat's a little crooked, but I'm really not going to worry about that too much. Alright, and we want it so it's going to overlap on the top here. And see, if I hadn't have taped down those pleats, they'd kind of want to unfold on me while I'm doing this part. So I'm just kind of creasing as I bring it over to wrap it. And I'm telling you, a handheld, a weighted tape dispenser is such a great investment. I think I got this on clearance at Staples many, many years ago, but it is really wonderful to have. And then again, like I said, crease a little bit before you wrap in your sides. This is just, you know, your regular wrapping here. Just try to keep it neat. It can be kind of difficult. I want to trim a little bit off there because I don't want it to overhang. But that's alright. You can always cut paper off. You can never put it back on though. I hate it when I have to, you know, get a little bit of extra paper just to cover over a hole in the back because I cut it too short. The false economy there. Just gonna wrap in the edges, and I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side, and then we'll see how the front looks. Alright, now we have our box all done. We can see that we can stick our tag right in there. It's not gonna fall out because it's a nice tight pleat. Or we can put our tag in the second one. I've got a little asymmetrical lines going here, but I kind of like it. I think it's kind of funky. Now let's go ahead and make the fluffy flower here. It's very, very easy. And what we're going to use is some tissue paper. And I like this tissue paper in the roll. Listen to this. It's got a cool crinkliness to it that would be really great for stamping on and for other art purposes, but it's also really great for die cutting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it over several times because I want to make a really nice fluffy flower. Kind of reminds me of like sewing pattern tissue. It's got that kind of crinkliness to it. It's a little bit crisper than the you know, the regular sheet tissue paper that you'd get at, like, you know, your department store or your dollar store. It's got a really cool, almost waxy glassine type feeling to it. So I'm going over here several times, and what I'm going to do is use my die cutter to cut out some flowers. Let me just trim that off from the roll. I want to show you another example too of a pom-pom you can do with this. Right here I did this with, you know, I just accordion folded a big stack of it and cut the edges and made that. So that's just another idea if you bought a roll of this and you wanted some other ideas for it. So let me grab my die cutter and we'll die cut this out. I've got my trusty Big Shot here, and I'm just going to put this on because I really want to make sure I get that big daisy, and I want to be able to cut it twice. So actually, if I have this wide enough, oh yeah, I can do it like this, and then I can get both flowers 2 times, and I love that because I don't like to waste. I like to save the little flower that comes in this die for other projects. This is the Sizzix large daisy die. If you don't have this, you know, use whatever flower die you have, or you can cut it out by hand. It's pretty thin, so, you know, you can cut that out with scissors if you want. If you didn't have a die, that's absolutely fine. You could even just do circles, and that would come out really well too, I think. So we're going to cut this one more time, and then we're going to assemble our flower. Okay, here we go. I've got my large stack of flowers here. My small ones I'm going to set aside so I can use them some other time. They're awful pretty. And I'm just going to grab a little brad, and I've got these that I made these little pearl brads at one time, and I thought it'd be a good chance to use it up. Now before I take apart these flowers, I'm going to punch a hole in the center, and I'm just using this crocodile punch because I can reach into the middle very easily with it. And it cuts through the whole stack at once. So you can punch this tissue paper too, which is an advantage over the regular tissue paper. And then I'm going to just mix them up here. Just kind of separate them with your fingers like this. That way. Whoops, oh, those guys, what are they doing? Let's cut those apart. There we go. Because we want them to be fluffy, so we don't want them all stacked up. We want them nice and loosey-goosey. And then, make sure you have really pretty ones on top. If you got a little on the edge like I did, you want to make sure those aren't right on the top. That didn't happen the last time I did it. Oh well, you'll see. It'll be pretty. I'm sure. I'm not worried. And then we're just going to stack up all these guys. And they'll be nice in a random order since we've separated them. And they'll fluff really nice. So get them all stacked up on the brad, and I'll show you how to fluff them. Alright, they're all stacked up. What I'm going to do is just pull back the prongs of my brad just to hold them in place. Now the nice thing about this is that when you go to put them on your shipping tag, like I did here, I just popped them through the hole. See that? With a little bit of Paper Mart tool. Look how pretty and easy that is. And these are just the Paper Mart shipping tags I covered with paper and just folded over the edge to make another little pocket. In case I had another little treasure I wanted to stick in there, like a, I don't know, a gift card or something, or concert tickets. You know, it's just kind of fun to have little pockets and things. I love them. Alright, so then we've got them secured with our little brad, and then what you're going to do, and this is so easy, you're just going to kind of pull up the edges and scrunch them. And you can go quickly without a care in the world, or you can individually do every layer. I think you know what method my preferred one is, the quickly without a care in the world method. I tend to be a little bit more partial to. But, you know, just fluff them, and then as soon as you got them as fluffy as you like, you can add them to your project. And hey, it's another way you can use your dies, it's another way you can use your supplies, it's another way to make a present look really, really pretty. If you don't fluff it up so much and you have a pretty brad in the middle, you can leave it like that, but I think it's nice to get a lot of volume. So really, really scrunch those first few petals and kind of scrunch them less as you go, and that's how you get a lot of volume. So you know, you can use your regular brads from the office supply store. You can get like a pack of 100 at Staples for a couple dollars. So if you have those, that's great. I would scrunch them up more. If you've got one of those really fancy Martha Stewart brads or something, I think I would not scrunch it so much, so that you have, so you can show that off as well. But there you go. It's so easy to do this technique. I do hope you give it a try because it's just something a little special that you can add to a present. The pleats are so much fun. It's a great way to add a little additional gift or a card, and I do hope you enjoy it. If you want to see the supplies I used in today's video, I'll have links below, but you can go to www.papermart.com where we make you look even better. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, happy crafting.